Yeah, so the NFL season's officially here, but that doesn't mean the Dynasty content stops. We're looking at your Dynasty football trades
That is
on
right.
today's video. All
Mm-hmm.
right, we've got 5 trades to look at from our community. If you want your Dynasty trades ever to be considered, consider joining our Discord with the link in the description. And
Come
then
on.
anytime you put a screenshot of a trade over on the Dynasty Trades text channel, we consider it for this video series. Okay, let's look at this. Team 1, shout out to Kegel. This trade is from Kegel. It's a 10-team PPR league. Team 1 gets Brees Hall, a 23 second. Team 2 gets David Montgomery, Terry McLaurin, and the 101 apparently now in
The
2022
101.
rookie drafts, Dameon Pierce with the hype that's coming out.
Yeah.
Where do you sit on this, Badaki? Where do you stand? Which side are you taking?
Um. Oh man, this is really tough. Once again, just to reiterate, I'm not off Brees Hall. I am a little bit more skeptical coming into this season and maybe seasons in the future because Michael Carter will have a role, in my opinion, for years to come. Michael Carter's only in his second year. Brees Hall is going into his first year. Um, he's still my RB5, but but I actually don't mind Team Two. So I am going to, oddly enough, take Team Two. One reason, let me tell you one reason why. It's because it's really a 10-man league. If this was a 12-man league, I think I would kind of lean Brees Hall and say, you know what, I'm going to go with the youth. I'm going to longevity. But I'm happy with Terry. I'm happy with Monty. I'm a believer in Monty and Dameon Pierce. So I'm not saying I'm off Brees Hall. I still like both trades. I think both teams really do win. But give me, the depth with Monty. Give me the depth with Terry, and give me the depth with Damian Pierce. Not a home run hit, but maybe this could be a win now team for Team Two. So really
Yeah.
close, really close.
Yeah, and I think what you just said is what I really wanted to hone in. Can I not say that this is truly a win-win because I feel like
Yeah,
team 1, I'm assuming that this is a rebuild. Okay, Brees
exactly.
Hall for me, he is one of very very few running backs I would like to rebuild a dynasty team around. Team 2, if you're a win now team, I mean this seems like potentially a no-brainer. There's a high chance that Montgomery and Brees Hall score a similar amount of points. Then
Hmm.
you have Terry McLaurin, who's a serviceable wide receiver 2 on your team, whatever Dameon Pierce turns out to be. So I truly do think that this could be considered a win-win. But if I have to choose, I am going to choose the team 1 side of this with the Brees Hall. And look, it all comes down to the fact that I really believe that Dameon Pierce is a replaceable running back.
For sure.
4th round running backs are just not prioritized long term like first and second down guys are. And there's another Dameon Pierce trade that we're going to look at here in a second. And I'm going to go into depth as to why I really think we need to not forget that. But
Hmm.
Michael Carter, 4th round pick last year. Who'd they draft? Brees Hall. So more on that to come in a future trade. But I do think that this is even. Like this is not an example of selling high on Dameon Pierce. This is just an example of an even trade for both
Yeah,
sides. Like
completely
I
agree.
don't look at this and think, oh, you got incredible value for Pierce because Monty and Terry are there. So I think this is even. I truly I gave both teams a B plus, but I would take the Brees Hall side if I'm, you know, if I have to choose. But
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm there with you. Both B plus. I'm still taking Team Two with Monty, Terry, and Pierce. Once again, really win-win for both teams, in my opinion.
all right, the second trade we're looking at here is from Vanla Jeff.
Van La
Um,
Jeff.
and his question is, which side are you guys taking? So, Team 1 gets Javonte Williams, Lamar Jackson, and a 2023 second. Team 2 gets Miles Sanders, Alexander Madison, Trey Lance, and 2023 firsts. I will hand it over to you first and ask you where you lean on
Yeah,
this trade.
yeah. Look, this one is also tough for me because of it's because of Miles Sanders and Alexander Madison. I love Trey Lance. I love the 223 first, right? And I think that if you take that away, I think that is enough. I wish he got something else, even if it was a lower guy, like a wide receiver or something, because I do believe kind of Miles Sanders, not that that and Alexander Madison are throw-ins and throwaway players, but I wish Team Two got more. I'm still gonna go and lean Team Two just purely based on these 223 firsts. Really believe in this class. I've been preaching it all along. I love Lamar Jackson. I love Javonte Williams, and you get in 23 first. But I mean, the way Trey Lance is kind of projecting, the way this 23 class is projecting, hopefully it does hit. It's not guaranteed, but hopefully it does hit.
Yeah.
And if you can hit on both of those players in the 23 first, and I'm really happy, but I am disliking that you got Miles Sanders and Alexander Madison at the exact same time. So what I would do is I would try to move Sanders and Madison, but I like team 2. That makes sense.
All right, you kind of broke out there for a second, so I don't know exactly what you said.
No, okay, no worries.
But I heard you say that you would take team 2.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I truly I cannot explain how difficult this was for me. We don't take much longer than about 10 minutes to break down each of these trades, but this trade in particular, I spent 30 minutes trying to find a way to justify the team 2 side and like pick team 2 because of my love of Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, right.
And you guys know this. If there's anyone out there in Dynasty who's advocated more for Trey Lance, like let me know. 83% of our community chose team 1 here. And my main question, which would give me a lot of clarity, is where are these 2023 first rounders going to be?
Right.
Because if those are both top 6, then maybe my answer changes. I love a ton of running backs in this class. Zach Evans, Bijan, Jameer, Sean Tucker looks incredible now. But regardless, as much as I love Trey Lance, I just can't justify picking against team 1 here, which is so weird that I'm saying that because of how much I love him. But here's the way I look at it, right? Let's add Sanders and Alexander Madison and that 23 first on team 1. That's a wash for me. So let's get rid of those.
That's exactly what I said, by the way, when I cut out. Okay. I was like, I like this trade for team 2. I just wish Miles Sanders and Alexander Madison was, if they were anyone else, I would be like, this is a home run hit. But sorry, continue.
So let's wash those out. Then we're looking at Lamar and Javonte or Lance and 223 first. And as much as I love this class, we're talking about, and as much as I love Trey Lance, we're hoping that one day he actually does what Lamar Jackson has done in his career. And I think it's very possible. I will die for Trey Lance. But we have seen Lamar Jackson be the quarterback 1. He is just entering his prime. Javonte Williams is set to explode. His value will rise exponentially. I mean, I think we're talking about Javonte Williams this time next year, the same way we talked about JT all offseason. Going into his second year, I think he's bound for a prime season. Yeah. So the way I look at it is you have to hit so heavy on those 2023 first round picks. And if you don't hit, then you could be finding yourself in a position where maybe you've only got Trey Lance, who that's great. He's going to be an incredible. I already have him in my top 7 in Dynasty quarterbacks, but you don't have the running back like Javonte Williams, and you could have already had that elite top 3 Dynasty running back guy. So it's really close. With all my heart, I wanted to go Trey Lance, team 2, but I had to go team 1. I gave team 1 an A-. I gave team 2 a B+.
Yeah, one thing I want to say really fast. If Miles Sanders and Alexander Madison are not part of this trade, let's say this is a Romeo Doubs or George Pickens that's kind of getting hyped right now. Let's say a Michael Gallup. Let's say, I doubt you can get a Christian Watson or maybe a Kadarius Toney. Is this more appealing to you? I know these are big names that I just said. It's a lot more
interesting. I know the names. Yeah, look, Miles Sanders and Alexander Madison. As much as I think Miles Sanders was incredible last year and he was very efficient and just very unlucky, I don't know what the hell that team is doing at running back. I have no idea how to trust them at all. And Madison, to me, I've never understood. He will never be a workhorse running back ever. So the value is purely based in another person's injury. And if Dalvin leaves, you replace him with another running back in the draft. So look, if they were other names, it could get really interesting. But this was really close.
Yeah, it is definitely tough. For me, I gave team 1. Team 1, a B, and I gave team 2 a B+. Once again, very close. You have to hit on those 23 first. Give me the 23 first as well, though, and I'll take the chance with Trey. Okay,
so trade number 3. Shout out to Larson Nathan. And I'm just gonna go on a soapbox for a second. Is that okay?
Sure. No, go for it. I'm here. I'm listening.
Team 1, David Bell and a 2024 first. Team 2, Dameon Pierce. Okay, and the Dameon Pierce. I try not to go on Twitter because oh my god, the toxicity will kill you. But when I do, it's purely just to see what some people are talking about over there. And the Dameon Pierce hype is ridiculous, like absolutely ridiculous. People are now giving away 2023 firsts, 24 firsts, and David Bell. And I think that this is an example of anyone who has Dameon Pierce, please sell him high now.
Agreed.
He can be good this year, and you still made the right decision. I am all aboard Team 1. I'm going to go on a soapbox for 1 second. I mentioned earlier, okay, that a 4th-round running back is not prioritized by a franchise the way a 1st or 2nd-round running back is. So while I like Pierce for redraft, I got him in redraft leagues. I'm not convinced that he's a workhorse franchise running back. Let's look at running backs drafted in the 4th round since 2019. You probably wouldn't have liked this if I went all the way back to 2015, but I know someone in the comments would have said, "Oh, well, the NFL is different. It's not the same anymore." Okay, right. So running backs drafted in the 4th round since 2019. In 2019, Bryce Love from Stanford was drafted by Washington. What did they do? They drafted Antonio Gibson. Justin Hill was drafted by Baltimore. What did they do? They drafted J.K. Dobbins. Benny Snell was drafted by Pittsburgh. What did they do? They drafted Anthony McFarland. Tony Pollard was drafted by Dallas. What did they do? He developed a nice role, a nice little backup role.
He developed a nice role.
has he ever been worth a 1st-round pick? No. Different talents, I understand, different players. Let's go to 2020. Joshua Kelly, drafted by the Chargers.
Oh my God.
What did they do?
Talent.
They just drafted Isaiah Spiller.
He won me a
Michael Pirine, drafted by the Jets. What did they do? Well, they drafted 2 running backs, Michael Carter and Breece Hall. Anthony McFarland, drafted by Pittsburgh. What did they do? They drafted Najee Harris the next year. DJ Dallas by Seattle. What did they do? They drafted Ken Walker. In 2021, in the draft, 4th round, Michael Carter. What did they do? They drafted Breece Hall. Kene Ngakwe from Minnesota. I mean, he's not really ever had a role. Ramondre Stevenson by New England. This is another reason why I'm not high on Ramondre, because I believe that the Pats, we haven't seen this trend yet fill out for them. But I believe the next step for the Patriots is re-signing Damien Harris or bringing in another running back when Dameon is gone to share the load with Ramondre. And then Chuba Hubbard was also drafted in the 4th round by Carolina. I can't express this like as easily as I want to, but please get a 23 first, get a 24 first in a player for Dameon Pierce if you can. Easily, you can replace that temporary value. It happens all the time. We see 4th round running backs, they look good. Oh, what do you know? They got traded. If you think Dameon Pierce should have been the 1st round, why wasn't he drafted? Why was he a 4th round pick then? Why did his own team have that many times to draft him and they passed on him? Why did all these teams with these comp picks in the 3rd round pass up on Dameon Pierce?
Right.
So look, I understand he's like purely based off volume. He's going to be good. And we had someone comment, Badaki, on one of these videos a couple weeks back, and they said, "I hate that you hating on Dameon Pierce. Like you keep saying that you didn't like him as a prospect." I'm like, so should I lie now that the hype is high? Should I lie and tell you guys I like Dameon Pierce? Is that the response I should have given?
Right.
I didn't like him as a prospect. He didn't stand out to me compared to anyone else in this class. So team 1, I gave an A+++. Team 2, I gave a D-. I don't know what the thought process is here. Why don't the Texans draft another running back next year, and then you just have a guy like Tony Pollard at best that you can start at times? I just don't get it.
No, I definitely hear where you're coming from, and I'm a believer in Dameon Pierce. I love what he did. I was not as high. I wasn't like to the moon with Dameon Pierce, but I was like, you know what, he could have a good role, and he lands in a place where he can get a role. But I said this the other day. Are people just taking advantage of people that don't know about fantasy? Because I think if you are somewhat remotely
Dynasty
understanding,
specifically,
Dynasty or fan, whatever.
Right.
If you're trading, how are people saying Dameon Pierce is worth a 24 first? I feel like these people, the trades that we're seeing here, don't know anything about fantasy, or
part
Dynasty.
of the hype machine as well, right? I mean, how many people on live streams told us Isaiah Pacheco is worth a 23 first? I mean, it's these hype train names
ridiculous.
Where we're like, why? Tell me why they are.
It's just
they weren't drafted
bias.
with any capital.
Yeah. But give me Team A. I'm right there with you. I did a buy low and told you why David Bell is a great buy low option now for you in Dynasty. And to get a 24 first, no matter who it is, whether it's Dameon, it doesn't matter. I even say this for James Cook. Like, if you're a believer in James Cook, which I am, and I have him really high, I'm still taking a 23, a 24 first, purely based off because the value I see coming in, I can get even more value than James Cook. Anyways, I'm right there with you. I don't want to rant too much longer.
Yeah.
Team 1 definitely got an A for me, and Team B got a B minus. I like Dameon. Actually, give me a C minus, because you know what? After everything you said, it's like, shit. Damn.
I think I should make a video on that, by the way. Like,
probably
I've been
should.
thinking, like, I should make a video on this.
You probably should. Yeah. I think it's good information. People understand. We love Dameon Pierce, but don't be trading your firsts 24, 23 away for Dameon Pierce. Period.
Yeah. All right. I hijacked that one. So trade 4 will start with you. It's from Nova. Team 1 gets Justin Herbert. Team 2 gets Dak and 2 mid to late 2023 first. This was super interesting to me because 67% of our Discord voted for a side I would not have. I wonder where you stand. It's a 12-team PPR 6-point touchdown league. Where do you stand on this one?
I mean, that says enough. 12-team PPR 6-point. I mean, he's either the 101 or the 102 in a startup, and you're taking Justin Herbert over Dak Prescott, who's currently going at the end of the first or maybe even the early second at the turn. I understand. The other thing is that you're getting mid to late 23 first.
Yeah, exactly.
Mid to late.
We already know. We don't have to even guess. It's like,
yeah. That means, 7 and onwards, 6 and onwards is like, actually, if I'm going to be trading Justin Herbert, the QB1 or 2, in a lot of people's eyes, I need a top 5 pick. I need 2 top 5 picks. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
get Dak Prescott. I like Dak Prescott, but he's an older quarterback. He's coming. Not that he's coming towards the end. He probably has another 4 or 5 years in him. Where
Easily,
Herbert has, a little bit longer. So give me team 1 here without a doubt.
I think what you have to be careful of in Dynasty is just like quantity and being excited for a trade just to trade.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like you mentioned, this isn't anti-Dak at all because we like Dak. We think he's worth like a late first, early second in startup drafts.
Agreed.
But he's not Justin Herbert. And if I'm moving Justin Herbert, I need an absolute haul. I need to be blown off my feet with an offer, and this is not what I'm looking at. We're acknowledging that the firsts are going to be mid to late. Justin Herbert is 24 years old, and he just finished as the quarterback 2 in fantasy. He threw for 5,000 yards and 38 touchdowns. His second year in the league, surrounded by an incredible coaching staff, great offensive line, as many weapons as you could dream of. In Superflex Dynasty leagues, there's like maybe 1 or 2 more valuable players in the entire thing. Yeah. And you need to be blown away by a trade offer, and this just is not it for me. Especially, and look, we don't know where those picks are going to end up being, but that's what they're telling us. I'm assuming it's good. It's good teams. So it was interesting. 67% of our Discord went team 2 with Dak, and I'm all aboard the Herbert side. I would pay this for Justin Herbert. I mean, Herbert shouldn't be he shouldn't be available.
No,
he shouldn't be available at all.
That's definitely not. I feel like Josh Allen and Herbert feels like untouchables unless you can get, it's just even tough. I was gonna say unless you can get Justin Jefferson, Chase, but even then, that's really tough because your quarterback is your like foundation to your team, especially in
your
Superflex.
2 quarterbacks are on a weekly basis. That's what you're building around. Team 1, I gave an A. Team 2, I gave a C+.
Same with you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got one last trade. We're not going to analyze it. I just thought it was interesting because you guys play some deep loves, some deep leagues. Right. Excuse me. And I can't remember whose name this was. I'm so sorry. I didn't write it down. But Team 1 gets Danny Amendola, Jimmy Graham, Kirk Cousins. Team 2 gets Kyle Rudolph, Deonta Foreman, Josh DeGuara, and a 2024 4th-round pick. Now, context here might be important. He says, any love here, or does this not make any sort of difference? It's a 14-team, 30-plus player roster size, 1 quarterback, 1.5 PPR, so half PPR. Cousins competes with Jameis for my quarterback 2, and plenty of teams have no backups come bye week. So thought this trade for like a 2nd-round pick come bye time. Any thoughts? And look, I'll just say that there is nothing on this trade that has any sort of value in Dynasty except for Kirk Cousins. 100%. So if you got Kirk Cousins, you won the trade. But I just thought it was funny. Like, I mean, this is a real trade out there. It's crazy like that.
It is.
People are going crazy. This deep.
30-man league, 30-plus player league, 14-man roster or league.
My question is like, what is Team 2 actually? What the hell do they want here? Out of this,
Dante Foreman, they probably think
maybe
they think CMC is gonna get hurt somehow. I don't even know who the hell this tight end for Green Bay is.
He started as like when Olme went down.
Oh man, I can't even say his name.
Tunyon.
How do you say that?
Josh DeGuara.
I was like, wait, what? Maybe he's not believing for Robert Tunyon to come back.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, we just thought that was an interesting trade to cover. So the way we're going to do this, you tell us where you stand on these trades. Team 1, I'm side 2, I'm side 1. Team 2, I'm side 1, I'm side 2, whatever the case may be.
Right.
But join our Discord if you want your trades to be considered, and have a good rest of your day. See you later.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.